So this is an update on some of the heads I've been working on. I spray painted two of them. I actually spray painted both of these. I spray painted the Puppet Master and the Johnny Storm head. The Johnny Storm head, he looks kind of waxy, and I wasn't very happy with the way it turned out. His eyes look a little odd. I couldn't quite get the pupils done correctly, and the skin does kind of look a little waxy. So the original head is still much better than this one. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to drop this in paint thinner and just take all the paint off and give it another shot. Because I used an airbrush to paint it because I thought, you know, logic would be that would how you get the smoothest, best look for it. But when I look at tutorial videos online about people who paint the custom heads, they almost always use a dry brushing technique. So I'm going to just do a little bit more research and try that. When I airbrushed the, I don't know if you can really see the detail on him too much. For the Puppet Master, it didn't look too bad with the layer. He also looked a little waxy, but I saw a lot of deep ridges in his head from when I had carved off the hair that was on him. Some of it the waves and stuff in the hair had went pretty deep, so they still had, you know, it had ridges in it. So what I had to do is I had to put it in paint thinner and strip off all the paint, and then I put some Magic Sculpt across the dome and down here where he had sideburns, and then I had to file it and sand it with a couple of different ones, ending with a nice fine 800 grain sand, so it's now really smooth. It's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna have to repaint this one. I'm gonna, like I say, I'm gonna do some tutorials, and I'm gonna work on some dry brushing techniques and see if we can get these heads looking better. The next thing I was working on is the Sentinel head. I've done a lot of tutorials on this one, but you can see I put some Magic Sculpt in here just to give it a platform for the skull cap, and I sanded it smooth, and you can see there's magnets in here. So I took the magnets from like those little screw pickup tools that you can get. I got it at the dollar store actually, and I put it in here. So this one is like a negative, and this one is a positive. And then I put the opposing magnets on the other side so that if you put the skull cap on backwards, it'll repel. But then when you put it on correctly, it just closes. And I'm really happy with that. I built it up here. Another reason I built it up here is to try and minimize any light spill. But since I've checked that, and since the light is aimed down on the little element that we're going to put in there, there really is no light spill, even though it's not an absolutely perfect fit in there. And I can see, looking at it here again, that I need to sand a little bit on the side to finish that off. So this looks really good. And then, you know, for you know, just slide it sideways, and then the element will be on the side. Just hit the switch and then just put the cap right back on, and then it's ready to go. So I'm really happy with this. This is gonna look really awesome when I'm done with it. And then finally, I have to work on the head. Turned out okay for this one. It was already cast in a this is Franklin. It was already cast in a skin tone, flesh tone. So I just painted the hair and the eyebrows and the eyeballs. Really tough to paint the pupils. So he's just kind of got pinpoints right now. I'm scared to try and make it any bigger because it looks pretty decent right now. Body, of course, I have to work on the body. I have to make it look more like a teenage boy than a teenage girl. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this one. I did find from the same person who made this head. He made a female head, which will be a little bit smaller than the one that's on Valerie right now. So I've ordered that one, and I'm going to paint that one up and see if that one works better and it looks a little bit better than the one that I have on it right now.